Well, thank you for your patience tonight. Good evening and Merry Christmas. Thank you for attending our Christmas concert tonight. I'm Jim Monroe. I'm the president of our Pine Bluff Community Band, as well as associate pastor here at First Baptist Whitehall, and your announcer for this evening, so thank you much for being here. This is our only Christmas concert for the season, so we're really glad you're here to hear us and to add to your Christmas spirit. Now, we never, as I say all the time, we never charge for our concerts, but like good Baptists, we always take donations. And so there is a donation bucket there in the back. It just helps us offset some of our costs. And no obligation, of course, but you're certainly welcome to contribute. We have a variety of Christmas songs for you tonight, and from the secular to the sacred. And we've even thrown in an American folk classic. I'll tell you more about that here in a little bit. So we hope you enjoy each tune we have for you tonight. So I'm going to tell you about our first song before we get started. I'm sure most of us are familiar with the Christmas carol and hymn, Angels from the Realms of Glory. Our first tune is a variation of that song. It was made popular by the Canadian brass. Eric Robertson arranged this somewhat whimsical version of Grand Angelic March. So we hope you enjoy it tonight. But before we play, I want to introduce and you welcome our director of the Pine Bluff Community Band, Jerry Williams. Our next tune is the American folk classic that I mentioned earlier. There are few melodies as recognizable as that of the American folk song Shenandoah. The song appears to have originated with American and Canadian voyagers or fur traders traveling down the Missouri River in canoes, and has developed several different sets of lyrics. By the mid-1800s, versions of the song had become a sea shanty heard or sung by sailors in various parts of the world. The song has no mention of Christmas, but it's one of our favorite warm-up songs, and so we hope your heart will be warmed as we perform Robert Smith's and Michael Story's arrangement of Shenandoah. Christmas is a traditional French carol that dates from the late 15th century. This carol celebrates all the figures in the handmade nativity scenes found throughout France, where they are part of the Christmas celebration in homes and town squares. This song would be sung by families at home and at community gatherings. The song's lyrics present the Christmas story as it's recorded in the Bible, from the angel's announcements to the shepherds to the wise men traveling from the east. So we hope you enjoy our playing of Larry Kirshner's arrangement of Sing We Now of Christmas. John Williams is a famous composer whose work has spanned 7 decades. His early film scores from the 1960s include Valley of the Dolls and Goodbye, Mr. Chips. His iconic work includes the scoring of Jaws, E.T., Star Wars, Superman, and the first 3 Harry Potter films. But he also composed the music to a 1990 movie that was the second highest grossing film of that year. It was about an extended family in Chicago who went on a Christmas vacation to Paris, but they forgot one important thing: their kid. Youngest boy, Kevin. We forgot Kevin. Home Alone catapulted Macaulay Culkin to a Hollywood child star. Our next piece is a collection of tunes from that movie. The order in which you'll hear them are The House, Holiday Flight, Glorious Thieves, Somewhere in My Memory, and Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. And now, music from Home Alone, arranged by Johnny Benson. Now, usually we're used to people hollering at us when we're playing, not usually somebody in the band standing up and hollering at the crowd. We don't forget Kevin. All right, when I think of all the artists who have recorded classic Christmas songs over the decades, one guy on the top of my list is Bing Crosby, especially due to the popularities of Holiday Inn and White Christmas, those movies. However, there's a Christmas song originally sung by Bing that wasn't in either movie. In the middle of World War II, Bing Crosby recorded I'll Be Home for Christmas, and it was released in time for the 1943 Christmas season. The last line, I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. It resonated with many of the servicemen and women who were serving all over the world. In the almost 80 years since, this song has been a standard on almost every Christmas album and has been recorded by artists of almost every genre. So we hope you will enjoy our playing of I'll Be Home for Christmas. Well, in 1939, Robert May was told by his bosses at Montgomery Ward, you remember that store, right? Montgomery Ward, Monkey Ward, yeah. They challenged him to come up with a story idea for a coloring book. He first came up with either Rollo or Reginald the Moose, and that was decided that a reindeer would really look friendlier than an imposing moose. But this reindeer was unique. It had a red nose, and at that time, a red nose was associated with drunks. And so it was debated whether this, and maybe still is, I don't know. And it was debated whether this type of association would be acceptable to parents. But the cute, bouncy little deer convinced management that it was worth trying. And it was. The story of Rudolph was a hit. The story was later adapted into a song, and in 1949, Gene Autry's recording of it made it to the #1 Billboard spot. Our community band would like to take you back to your childhood as we play Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. A heat wave in the summer of 1946 was when the composer Leroy Anderson came up with the idea for an instrumental piece called Sleigh Ride. He finished the work a year and a half later in February of 1948. Its initial performance was 3 months after that by the Boston Pops under the direction of Arthur Fiedler. It's the Boston Pops instrumental version that you most likely hear on the radio this time of year. Now, it wasn't until 1950, a couple of years later, that the lyrics were written, which mentions the lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Now, Sleigh Ride is much more than a good melody. There's some extra effects that give the tune that little extra memorable oomph to it, like the sounds of sleigh bells, the cracking of the whip, and the horse whinny at the end. Those additions make it easier for the listener to imagine taking that sleigh ride. So we hope that as you listen to our playing of Michael Story's arrangement of Sleigh Ride, you're able to envision gliding across the snow and watching the chestnuts go. Tune tonight, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our director, Jerry Williams. Now, Jerry's a 1970, I hate to date you there, Jerry, 1970 graduate of Pine Bluff High School, played in the Pine Bluff High Band during the Bud Childers era, as some of us did. Jerry directed award-winning bands at Benton High School and Watson Chapel High School, and he's been our director since 2004. So we're very appreciative of his effort and abilities to lead our band, and we have varying abilities, and that's just saying it nicely. You got some of us like me, and then you got professional guys, and everything in between. So Jerry, thank you so much for continuing to conduct our band. So we have just a small token of appreciation for you today that we'd like to give you and wish you and Miss Donna a very Merry Christmas. Well, two actresses Angela Lansbury, who played Jessica Fletcher on what show? Yeah, I got the right crowd here. They know Murder, She Wrote. That's right. And yeah. And B. Arthur, who played who? Played Maud in the 1970 sitcom by the same name. They teamed up in 1966 when they starred together in the hit Broadway musical Mame. In the musical, Mame lost her fortune in the Wall Street crash of 1929 and decides that she, her young nephew Patrick, and her 2 household servants need a little Christmas now to cheer them up. So even though it's only November in the play, there's no snow yet, Mame decides to hurry up the Christmas preparations to lighten their mood. So knowing this background of the play helps make better sense of the lyrics when it says, haul out the holly, put up the tree before my spirit falls again, fill up the stocking, I may be rushing things, but deck the halls now again. So we need a little Christmas. It's our last number this evening, and we hope that this song, as well as the others we perform tonight, has added a little bit of Christmas spirit to your season. Again, thank you guys so much for attending tonight. We hope, like I said, hope we've added a little bit to the Christmas spirit. So, from our director, Jerry Williams, and all of our members, we want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for coming tonight.